Bengaluru, where the clash of cosmopolitan energy meets the pulse of a rich cultural heritage. It's a city buzzing with high-tech industries, temples, parks, and a nightlife that keeps pace with its tech-savvy persona. But oh, the flip side. The traffic jams, pothole-ridden roads, frothy lakes, and a green cover on the decline. They've become the city's not-so-charming signatures. Enter Brand Bengaluru. Now, this is the Congress government's grand vision to untangle the urban knots, infuse more greenery, and ensure sustainability. They called on the public for ideas, and the response was nothing short of overwhelming. A whopping 70,000 suggestions flooded in through the Brand Bengaluru portal. This was confirmed by the government in the assembly. Now, the baton has been passed to 8 premier educational institutions. Picture this: brilliant minds dissecting the collective wisdom of Bengalurans to craft a master plan for the city's future. Sounds promising, doesn't it? But here's where the political drama unfolds. Now, the BJP is throwing shade at the Congress, claiming they're not doing enough for the city. In fact, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, not one to back down, fires back, pointing at the BJP's 4-year stint and demanding to know what they did for Bengaluru. Now, in a city where the blame game is more prevalent than the traffic snarls, what's the next chapter in the saga of Brand Bengaluru? The crystal ball remains murky, but one thing's crystal clear: Bengalurians are not mere spectators. They're active participants in shaping the destiny of this city. All eyes now on how the establishment will respond. All right, to understand what all my guests think about the current situation as far as Brand Bengaluru is concerned, let's go across to them. Let me introduce them. GS Prashanth, spokesperson of the BJP. Tehseen Poonawalla, political analyst, joining us from the studio. Dilip Cherian, founder, Perfect Relations. Priya Chetty Rajagopalan, founder, Heritage Beku. And RK Mishra, a senior member of ASOAM Karnataka chapter, that is. Good evening, all of you. Thank you very much for taking the time out and joining us here this evening. In fact, we're at that spot once again talking about the unfortunate situation that this city faces. Dilip, let me come to you first. You know, as far as a beautiful city like Bangalore and what it's been reduced to, in fact, I'm from Bengaluru myself, and what is unfortunate is that no matter how many governments has changed, we haven't seen anything new. In fact, the problems only continue to keep growing.
As somebody who believes that Bangalore has the best dosas in the world and a frequent visitor, let me say that Brand Bengaluru needs a huge, facelift of a variety of kinds. The least of it is to do with traffic, and the most of it is to do with attitudes displayed by those in power towards the city. Bangalore is, to my mind, and Bengaluru, as the locals would like to call it, is a magnet for people, and large parts of the country look up to Bangalore for more than its IT prowess. As someone who loves Bangalore, as I said, I would say that the branding exercise has begun well with crowdsourcing, but putting it into practice requires government to do more than sniping at the opposition. Sniping at the opposition needs to be left to somebody of a lesser standing than the chief minister. He should get on with the ideas and making sure that implementation begins. 5 years is a very short time.
All right, so essentially also talking about that portfolio per se, Tehseen, if I were to put that across to you, in fact, right now it is coming under DK Shivkumar's portfolio as far as Brand Bengaluru is concerned. But like we just did speak about the fact that politics is something that citizens find themselves in the middle of. In fact, it's a never-ending issue, whether it's the traffic issue, whether the frothing lakes, that is, especially for a city of a stature like Bengaluru.
So I last spoke to DK some time back, and like you rightly said, this came underneath him. He was very, very passionate about Brand Bengaluru. And the first thing he did was he sourced this out to the people. So genuine 75,000 plus responses from genuine websites, emails, people who are genuinely participated and have come and given their ideas. What is DK? What is Congress? What is the Chief Minister speaking about? Look, Bengaluru should be the IT capital of India. We must have space for AI to come in. We must have great incubators for Web 3.0 and startups to incubate themselves and grow. We have seen the winter of startups coming in and a lot of startups losing the job. How can government play a constructive role? We must come in and be support. And it's not just about IT. It's about creating opportunities for people to travel, making it easy for people to reach their destination. What is the BJP doing? While the BJP was in government, the roads of Bengaluru, you couldn't find roads. Between potholes, you would find some amount of road. They opposed flyovers so that the traffic could not be reduced. One day halala, one day burqa, one day hijab. These were the issues that they wanted to do. Right now, what Bengaluru is doing, they've just got an electric train from the Nandini Hills to Bengaluru to take care of the environment. This is what they're talking about. What can BJP do? Religion, caste, language, enmity, fights. I mean, while the BJP was around Bangalore, there were riots going on. You Mirror now covered it. So, for the good of Bengaluru, if only BJP can this time play a constructive opposition. We all love Bengaluru. If Bengaluru will progress, India will progress. It's a magnet for people of India to come. So don't play politics on such an amazing thing. Be a participant, work with DK and help Bengaluru prosper.
All right. You're essentially talking about the fact that the BJP is not one to be questioning as far as what the Congress...
Not just not questioning. The BJP government played an active role in destroying the infrastructure of Bengaluru. 40% Sarkara. Contractors committed suicide saying 40% commission was being taken. Tell me, how were the roads during the government's time? This traffic snarls that has happened has worsened in the last 5 years. There's a water shortage today. All because of them. They increased electricity prices before going. That was the last order Bommai Sir signed. They have completely ruined the cosmopolitan nature of Bengaluru. We have to get it back and make Bengaluru the investment hub of India.
All right, and you believe that has started with the initiative taken by the current government?
It's the very first step. It's a baby step, just like my friend Dilip said. But the least BJP can do is not be negative out here. Not oppose it. What are you opposing? Are you opposing 70,000 Indian citizens, Bengaluru residents, saying how they can make Bengaluru better? I mean, don't oppose for the sake. If DK will tomorrow say, stop taking oxygen, taking oxygen is good, BJP will get up and say, taking oxygen is bad. Let's stop taking oxygen.
So you mean any initiative that is taken is basically, do you want the opposition to come together with the fact that the citizens have a better new chapter that is? Prashanth, I do see that you want to come in on that. I'm actually going to come to you because here is something very interesting. You know, we're focusing on the civic aspect of it because every time such incidents have happened, which will also play out on our screens, whether it is the electrocution, whether it is lives being lost due to sheer civic negligence that is, there is politics and blame game even within the current government or the previous government, whether with the BWSSB, the BESCOM that is, or the BBMP. And when we're talking about this aspect of it and the BJP hits out at the Congress government, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah says that the BJP has no moral right to be questioning because it's not like we've seen great progress under the BJP government initially as well.
Nivedhana, now firstly, we are not against citizens giving suggestions to improve Bangalore. We are all for welfare of citizens. But now, let me rip apart Tehsin's points one by one. Riots in Bangalore, DJ Halli, KJ Halli riots happened. Congress MLA's house was burned down and Congress supported the rioters. They did not stand
Prashanth,
by their
this is not
Dalit
about
MLA.
Riots. We don't want to digress. We do understand you're countering what Tehsin has to say, but let's focus on the fact.
Nivedhana, you can't give him time to make political statements and me to talk about Brand Bangalore. First, let me rebut all of his points. Then I'll come to the Brand Bangalore, what they're talking about. Then you have Siddaramaiah diverting SC point for minority
oxygen
appeasement.
Is good. Will you stop taking oxygen?
Tehsin, wait.
Okay, Prashanth and Tehsin, I'd have to request you to not get into this because we also have other panelists. And at the end of the day, what we want to really talk about is the citizens, Prashanth.
Give me my time. Give me my time to make my point. Then you can ask pointed questions. Let me make my point clear. And Congress is only about appeasement and corruption because you started as a transfer scam. 42 crores cash was found in a Congress contractor's house. They have nothing to say. And talking about DK's Bangalore, his idea is to bring Kanakpura into Bangalore and increase his land rates, which is acquired from many years. And then about the civic apathy, Congress has no moral right. When my mother and child died, these people did not even have enough guts to go and face them. So therefore, Congress preaching about BJP not doing is absolute nonsense, because of the last 70 years, Congress has been in power for 60 years, for 65 years. So therefore, Congress trying to talk about Brand Bengaluru as if DK is some God-sent person. No, probably is the probably king of corruption. So therefore, he is wanting to make money and then spoil Bangalore, and they have zero idea for development, because he was the same DK was on record to say there is no single rupee available in the government to do development because the money has gone for guarantees. And even now, they're diverting SC/ST funds of 10,000 crores and giving about 4,000 for appeasement. Take it on point. Siddaramaiah has made that statement. He's going to give it as appeasement to a particular community only. So therefore, there's nothing called Brand Bengaluru. They're only trying to have this in advertisements and other things to say they're wanting to do something. But at the end of the day, corruption and appeasement is what Congress is doing and what they're known for best. Nothing more. Tesi need not give me sermons here saying what BJP did.
So you think Brand Bengaluru is a facade? Is that what you're trying to say? Okay, I'm going to come back to you on... Okay, Prashanth, you've had your say in terms of, of course, countering what Tehseen had to say. But since we're also going to be focusing on one thing that we want to is the citizens at the end of the day. Change of governments, we haven't seen anything that's happened on ground. So let me get in Priya over there. Priya, what we're seeing with Bengaluru, a city that should have not been having the kind of situation that we are currently seeing, and nothing has changed. In fact, Prashanth also spoke about how a mother and a young child a couple of weeks back had lost their lives. And again, this was due to sheer negligence as well. Why is it that we find ourselves in a situation like this? What do you think people in power need to be doing apart from accountability? What is it that the city needs?
Thank you. I still would like to look at the glass half full at this point, and also sort of draw the discussion back to what it originally started with, which was Brand Bengaluru. I think there is no end to the fact that there will always be things that are failing, whether you look at our infrastructure, whether you look at some of governance. There are huge opportunities for improvement, and some of them which are absolutely at rock bottom. I am completely with many of my panelists on this. However, as a citizen, I think it's about time that people start patting the citizens on their backs, because I think we are the single counterpoint to make sure that there is some direction and some kind of ownership, some kind of participation that makes sure that the city still keeps going ahead. If it wasn't for the fact that citizens were very active, we would see a very different issue in terms of transportation, in terms of the innovation in the city, and especially in terms of pollution or infrastructure, etc. I think things would be far worse if there was not enough active citizen participation and participation in whether it's what committees or whatever else. But moving on to the issue which you brought up in terms of are things changing? As a citizen and as a person who cares deeply about Bangalore, I completely admit, I confess I'm obsessed with the city. I think that this is, our life and soul. I love Bangalore, and I will never ever change whatever happens to the city. That is my heart and soul. There are going to be many opportunities to change, many opportunities to do better. Let's look at the current situation right now. We have, at this point, look at the confluence of a Bangalore Lit Fest, Bangalore Tech Summit, and many other events which are happening in December, which really are raising the brand of Bengaluru. But while these may, in your opinion, be more on the outer parts of the city, which is the literature, the culture, as well as the technology, the fact is, from the inside, Bangalore is getting better and better. And whether one government comes in or the next, as long as they are held accountable by the citizens and are constantly giving a report card about what they're doing, and we are holding governments to that, I think things are limping forward. There's no question about that. Having the city at the core, I am so tired of the memes and the kind of flip things about garbage city, traffic city, etc., because things are getting better. 20 years ago, why weren't the the government looking at issues around transportation. If we had looked at suburban rail, we had looked at simple things like pedestrians, buses, we would have been in a much better state today. So let's start now before our grandchildren say, why did you do this in the previous 25 or 30 years? So there are many things that are starting up which are going to take time to impact, time to go forward. While we're talking about frothing lakes, let's look also at the number of lakes that have been rejuvenated in the city and are a pride and joy to not only the climate and the environment and the ecosystem of the city, but to residents around who take pride in maintaining these spaces which are so necessary for us. So I am very clear that we are looking at the glass half full as citizens. We are holding the government accountable. Beyond a point, I can assure you that which government is there is not as important as how, and we certainly want the inspiration and the dedication and the ownership of the government in power. But the bureaucracy is the one that remains the same, that remains the engine on which all of this goes. So I would strongly say that the bureaucracy also need to be called out and to be involved and to give that space to move forward. The idea of Brand Bengaluru, whatever it may be, I think is a bold idea. The fact that it's involved a number of people is a bold idea. People have said, it's a bit of an eyewash or whatever. The fact is, we need everything we can, which is optimistic, positive in terms of going forward. And I can assure you, I feel as a citizen, there is scope, there is movement. And we are going to see a lot more going forward, provided the government listens to citizens and understands the holistic nature of what Bangalore is. The magic that Bangalore brings is literally the center of India and literally now getting to be somewhat the center of the world. And this is the mind, the heart, the culture, and the core of Bangalore that's taking it forward. So sorry for the rant, but that's where I'm coming from.
No, but that's exactly probably what most citizens in the city feel like, considering there are so many issues and someone has to take that up at the end of the day and the government has to be accountable. Doesn't matter if it's the current or the previous government. Having said that, you did say it was the heart and soul for you, and I would second you on that one. But let me go to R.K. Mishra. R.K. Mishra, is Bengaluru, a sad example of poor urban planning as well?
So I think before that, I would like to say the two political spokesperson spoke the way we don't want politicians to speak, and citizen spoke the way Bangaloreans are, and that's what made Bangalore great. It has been political apathy, irrespective of the government, and you saw first, of course, Tahseen tried to bring riots, which has nothing to do with Bangalore's infrastructure. And of course, Prashanth tries to counter the riots. I think the debate was about infrastructure and Brand Bangalore, so I'm sorry. Both of you are good folks, but let's try to focus on the city, because the city is not only important for Karnataka or India. I think it's a global center and everybody is looking at it. And then Priya represents and Dilip represent what truly makes Bangalore. The citizens, all of us relentlessly work for the city, and successive governments have more or less supported and did something. But I wish they did more. Now, coming to Brand Bangalore, I've been involved with that. See, actually, any politician, when he comes with the stature of D.K. Shivakumar, there is a good and bad thing. First, D.K. Shivakumar is very, very powerful. Hence, if he decides to do something, things will happen. Now, another thing is that D.K. Shivakumar is so busy, is so powerful and involved with so many things, his time and attention also gets divided. Now, I'm sure he knows what is being done. I've been involved, and the effort which has been made to collect the opinion of the people, involving the institution to do it, is a great idea. But now it's already 6 months. And 6 months, we need to have a blueprint, because it has to be converted into projects. Ideas have been given by the public. They have been collated by the institutions. Suggestions have come out. Now, this has to convert into projects. And this, I think, sooner than later, this should be done. One of the things which I have been working for almost the last 5 years, and it has been delayed by successive governments. It was fully approved by Yediyurappa government, but then got stuck in Bommai government. Almost the last day of the Bommai government, it was cleared, but then again got stuck. Finally, DKS has cleared it. It's called high density project, high density corridors, which are the 80% traffic of Bangalore. These roads will get better, and hopefully this will be done. and becomes the blueprint like tender shore roads were there. Similarly, for our underpasses, flyovers, so I think city needs what we are talking about, a master plan for next 25 years. We need next 6 months plan, we need next 2-year plan, and we need next 5-year plan. 25 years is too late. By then, if you really don't do much, Bangalore may not be as important as it is today. So I think 25 years plans are great. Those are visions. What we need in executable plan of 6 months, 1 year, and 3 years and 5 years. So this is something which I think our political class should understand. And I think if Bangalore is strong, I think the state is strong, which also the party in power is also strong, because Bangalore provides the resources for the state. If Bangalore does not produce, what will you distribute to the rest of the places where you want to do whatever schemes which are welfare schemes for the poor? So earn from Bangalore is spent in the areas where the need is, no problem with that. But to earn from Bangalore, you have to create infrastructure. If there's no infrastructure, there'll be no investment. So this is something which I think needs to be understood. And I can tell you, I personally have spoken several times. I am involved with whatever government is doing even now. I think DKS has ideas. It's not, lack of ideas. And if he puts his mind to it, he can do it. And I do not give any brownie points to the previous government, because all successive governments have failed. Otherwise, Bangalore will not be here where it is today. So without blaming one government, let's go forward. I think it's a good idea. Now that he has given Brand Bangalore, he has to show something. So I look at it from that point of view. Because just by giving Brand Bangalore and nothing improving, he will also have a bad PR. So I'm sure because the brand has been given, but something needs to be done on the ground. That's what I would say.
Essentially, Mishra, of course, there are ideas, but implementation, after all, is the key to actually see a change reality on ground. But there's seen something that Mishra also did point out is with the fact that DK Shivakumar is the Deputy Chief Minister, has enough on his hands. Do you think it's time for a dedicated minister to be taking care of this?
Yeah, so there is a dedicated department that is doing that. Brand Bengaluru does have a dedicated government wing. And there are a lot of things that are in the pipeline that will happen. And I want to applaud Priya for the wonderful work she's doing and, reviving the lakes and the heritage structures around Bengaluru. And I think this is what's required. We require the Bengaluru culture to completely be showcased to Karnataka and the rest of the country. So that's fantastic. And it's only citizens' involvement that will take it forward. But, the entrepreneur, and I am an entrepreneur, I'm not a political party, I'm an entrepreneur. But sometimes I do find that a lot of entrepreneurs do so a lot of entrepreneurs do not understand the nitty-gritty. So you have a long 25-year vision, you have a 5-year plan, you have a 2-year plan, you have a 1-year plan, you have a monthly plan, and that's the way you execute, and that's the way the government is going to do it. And the fact of the matter is that, and I'm telling you that this is something that the top leadership told me. They said, look, we are not owners of Bengaluru. We want to leave Bengaluru for the next generation better than what we inherited. What they've inherited from a previous government is depleted infrastructure. No work was done. You can say, Yedurappa sir may have sanctioned something. Fact is, you're either pregnant or not pregnant. You're not half pregnant. The work did not get done. Now you have to do it and leave it for the future generations. And the problem is, now that this is a non-political project, can the BJP not be political in it, not oppose for the sake of opposing? Nobody is answering one question. Either the entrepreneur or the BJP spokesperson. If tomorrow the chief minister says, look, Bengaluru has clean oxygen, let's all take in the oxygen and let's have fresh air, will BJP say, no, fresh air is bad? They are just opposing for the sake of opposing. There is no logic. Can you tell me one thing on logic what you're opposing? His entire argument has been DK has land rates will go up. I mean, is this an argument to make?
No, wait, let me
This is an argument made on your channel. Give me the opposition to Brand Bengaluru.
All right, let's see. 1 second. Prashanth, if you want to quickly comment on that, but let's not digress too much away from the subject, please.
See, firstly, as a person who's born and brought up in Bangalore, I know what Bangalore is and how the cultural ethos of Bangalore is, especially the older areas. If you take Malleshwaram and Basavangudi, where I come from Malleshwaram, so we know what cultural ethos of Bangalore is. So therefore, it can't be spoiled by anybody to say, just because Congress is in power, we are not going to say that as a citizen of Bangalore first, before I'm a chartered accountant or a BJP spokesperson, we love Bangalore more. So therefore, at no point in time, we will take steps to ensure that Brand Bangalore gets diluted. But it can't be done the way they seen is putting across saying, DK as if he's some, God said, no. the ideas have to be on the ground implemented. They can't have commissioning projects. They can't give tenders to their own companies. It's happened in the past also. Why? Only when the citizens woke up, the steel flyover project was stopped. People should not forget, Siddaramaiah wanted a steel flyover against all environmental clearances. Only the citizens' power could stop it. Otherwise, they would have gone ahead with that. So therefore, they have taken many steps to ensure that Brand Bengaluru suffers, but they should not do it now. Let them come out, let them be out in the open, give the ideas, and let the discussion be out in the open. It can't be limited to DK and his lands and Kanakpura being brought in. That is not acceptable. Let them have a blueprint for each area. Let them have ward-wise committees. Where are the ward committees happening? Whether are they serious about, if they were talking about BJP and corruption and citizens not get, what about the now BBMP thing? They have redrawn the BBMP to suit their convenience. That should not happen. They should have gone ahead with the elections for the BBMP, which they are not doing. So therefore, this will continue. But I would repeat, for Brand Bengaluru, we are willing to spend time and energy to give proper suggestions to ensure that Bengaluru improves. But
Prashanth, I have to interject you there, because as far as what the Congress has also said initially is with the fact that the BJP left rupees 25,000 crore debt.
Yes.
As far as this planning for Bengaluru is concerned.
That's wrong. The last budget of Mr. Bommai was a surplus budget. Congress is making up things saying it was a debt. No, because even in the funds they were trying to use, it was earmarked in the earlier budget also, which Siddaramaiah is now diverting. So therefore, what the budget Mr. Bommai presented was a surplus budget. Let them take out the records and see. Merely Siddaramaiah making a statement would not turn profitable numbers into losses. Let them look at the records. Let them summon the secretary and get the numbers done. We have no problem. If proven wrong, we will admit that we were wrong. We are unlike Congress. We will admit if we are wrong.
Okay,
so
I'm quickly going to get Tehseen on this, and then I'll go to Dilip. So Tehseen,
I don't want to do politics.
Yes.
I don't want to do politics. This is not a political show. But the fact is, Karnataka's more than 12,000 crore rupees is stuck with the union government. More than 12,000 crore rupees is stuck. So that is terrible. Why isn't the Honorable Finance Minister, who's the Rajya Sabha member from Karnataka, not releasing the money now? Two things, sir, just two things. In this entire show, sir, I am lost. I've been hearing you very patiently. You are saying this may happen, that may happen. May cannot be a crime, sir. I am asking you what is wrong. You've not shown one thing wrong in this project. You've not shown one corruption. You're saying something can go wrong. DK's land prices may go up. I'm again asking you for the upstream time. Please tell me and the anchor and the viewers of Mirror now, what is that you're opposing? Tell me one thing. It can't be shredded in futuristic. There may be a scam. If there is one court against it, please tell us what is wrong in this project. Please tell us. What are you opposing? Nobody knows what you're opposing.
For optics, you need not bring out this Brand Bengaluru. For already the existing issues of traffic deadlocks and everything, you could have set it right. Only to get some optics right, saying that bringing Brand Bengaluru without even having this name, you could have.
Sir, why didn't you do it in 5 years?
You really want the 70,000 suggestions only? Before that 70,000 suggestion also, you knew what the problems of Bengaluru were. If at all you have to go back and say that all the problems were originated only during BJP tenure, and before that Congress was not even in existence, then what have you done in the last 6 months, excepting infighting between Congress as to who will become CM, who's DCM, and who's corrupt? Congress leaders are writing to the CM saying that this is a
I want to get our other panelists also to get a quick word in. You both have, of course, had your say. But Dilip, a point that we were talking earlier, I do see you smirking as well, because ultimately this is what we don't want. We don't want the blame game to continue. But what I want to understand from you is, which I'd asked Tehseen as well, with the fact, is it time for Bengaluru to have a dedicated, development minister in terms of Brand Bengaluru? Considering a portfolio of a DK Shivakumar is that of a deputy CM, do you think that is something which can be reworked on? Do you think that would help navigate all these ideas as well? Because implementation is key, like all our co-panelists have said.
It's a great question. I think that this is a national problem. The national problem is that the urban centers get swamped by everything else. It is time that we had ministers for each of our urban agglomerations, because that is where the revenue is coming from. We need to understand that Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai are the places where taxes are collected, where huge investments are going in, and where investors are coming from. So I think that each of the cities deserves a minister in those cabinets. I agree with you.
All right. As Dilip has, a viewpoint is essentially talking about that. But before we wrap up, Priya, for citizen voice, you of course did say it was a rant earlier, which I don't think any one of us on the show thought of it like that, because ultimately these are stressed voices as well. Because, in terms of taxes also that a city like Bengaluru does pay, or rather a state like Karnataka does pay, and not having that given to them with great infrastructure as well, or even with the fact that they do see a countering city like Hyderabad doing much better in terms of standard of living as well, is something that Bengalurans don't want to find themselves in a place like.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I would definitely cast a focus on what some of my other panelists have said, which is the whole thing is about implementation. But the idea of Brand Bengaluru is bold, it's sweeping, it's good. It also needs to go back while it's supposedly democratically sourced. That's good. But we need to go back to two very critical things, which are going to involve more participation, more collaboration, and more control from the citizens, which is the revised master plan, which is pending fire from 2018. It has just been pushed forward, and it's just unbearable that a city like this does not have a proper master plan, which any other city has. We need that in order to move forward. And the second thing is the ward committees, which has been such a star in Bangalore in terms of having individual, 193 wards which have been participating in their own community, in taking ownership for driving agendas and being able to work closely, is just not happening. And without corporators working only with bureaucrats in this space, has become impossible. So I'm concerned why the ward committees and why that has not been pushed forward or quickly brought back. It's 3 years since we don't have the ward committees in place, and I can tell you it's affecting governance. It's affecting the way Bangalore will move forward, and certainly Brand Bengaluru will have less impact if the ward committees and the decentralization focus on moving this forward does not happen. So good idea. Great space,
right.
but as citizens, we need to push it forward.
Yes. All right. On that note, Priya, I want to thank you as well as all our panelists on the show for sharing with us your perspective. Of course, it's a matter of time to really look at whether this master plan will be implemented the right way. And on that note, we're slipping into a quick break here on News at 7. More news coming up on the other side. Stay with us. We're going to be right back.